I'm Eric Schumacher Rasmussen, the editor of Streaming Media, and this is a new feature on Streaming Media TV called Inside the Industry. I'll be talking to various folks in all facets of the online video industry about trends and issues, challenges we'll all be facing in the upcoming months. And starting off today, talking with Kris Drey, who is the founder of VidCompare.com. Welcome, Kris.
Hey, Eric. Glad to see you.
You too. Thanks for helping me kick this off. VidCompare.com is a website that does just what the title suggests. It allows users to compare video, in particular online video platforms. So, Kris, why don't you tell us a little bit about what VidCompare is, where it came from, what your goals are with it?
Yeah, my pleasure. I started VidCompare, we launched back in September, with the goal of really helping business decision makers find an OVP. As you very well know, the space has become quite crowded with the massive growth of online video in general. Today VidCompare has over 70 providers in the database of various flavors. We have, kind of a few prerequisites for being in the database. The providers that are in there today are on demand, and they provide kind of the big five at a minimum, what I call with regards to online video platform services, which are ingest, encode, storage, management, and playback. So the real kind of goal and inspiration for VidCompare was to help businesses wade through the different types of OVPs, what they offer, give them a view of the OVPs side by side so they can actually make an educated decision. Because at the end of the day, this, again, video for a lot of businesses is not your core business, but it is an important piece today with regards to marketing and especially for publishers. So making this decision right the first time is critical, and VidCompare helps people from simply doing Google searches or depending on what their friends or colleagues say. Really gives you kind of some education and some real clear background and insight into what each OVP does and where they focus.
I like the way you break down those 5 critical characteristics that all OVPs really need to have, and those are certainly the core that we see as well. As you look to the next year or so, what do you think the big trends and changes are going to be in the online video platform space itself, either with what the providers are doing, what features they're offering, along those lines?
Yeah, well, it was interesting to see a lot of the thought leaders' predictions for 2010, and many of them were quite similar. Everybody's talking about TV everywhere. Mm-hmm. Everyone's talking about the explosion of mobile, OTT, over the top, things of that nature. And while I tend to agree with a lot of it, I don't think these things are going to come to fruition per se in 2010. I think mobile is definitely going to grow. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are coming together and trying to kind of help everybody along with regards to seeing video on multiple devices. I think mobile still has the main problem of the tiny screen. And other than that, there's TV everywhere, which is, a lot of talk about it, but in my personal opinion, we've got a long way to go there.
Yeah.
I think 2010 will help it grow for sure, but I think TV everywhere is several years out still. But for me personally, I think 2010 is really all about the expansion and growth and maturity of our space. I mean, at the end of the day, online video is, I think we've grown out of our infancy and are now kind of in our toddlerhood. But I think this year is going to be critical for really defining online video platforms, really defining how people use video and really understanding how to use it to their benefit and really get a lot out of it outside of, the use cases are many, right? Mm-hmm. Are you a publisher? Are you a marketer? Are you, a large corporation looking to put training videos behind the firewall? There are very varied use cases, but I think this year will really help people really understand how to use video effectively on the user side. And then on the OVP side specifically, I think we're going to see some of these OVPs go away.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see some melding. I think there'll be some mergers and acquisitions. So I think those really strong players are going to kind of rise to the top further. And I think some of the smaller fish that have been struggling with their business model per se may, I think, be eaten up and go away a little bit in the space. So I think, again, I think the biggest opportunity, I think, for this year is a maturity in the space in general and more growth for sure.
Well, you mentioned that you've got 70 providers in your database right now, so you're expecting that number is going to go down, but obviously the space is going to remain vital. Otherwise, you wouldn't have even launched a site like VidCompare if you thought it was going to get down to just a handful of competitors, right?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think we'll ever see just a handful. I mean, I get submissions for new entrants, probably 2-3 a week. But, you know, we have a pretty serious process whereby we ensure that everybody is what they say and do provide not just the core competencies, but have some value add as well. So I think, you know, with the space growing as it is, we'll see absolutely more providers coming into the space. But what I think you'll see is a lot of specialization. So this kind of notion of I'm an OVP, get video on your website today, I think that will narrow, and I think a lot of people will, again, specialize. So I think we're going to see this space, you know, again, speaking with regards to maturity, we're going to see people really kind of focus on a couple of things as opposed to being everything to everyone. So to answer your question, yeah, I certainly don't see the space thinning to the extent that there'll be just a handful, but it'll grow and kind of retract together to kind of, I think, really kind of build a more useful environment for everybody.
Well, let's talk a little bit more then about the end users of video and what they should be looking for. If you were giving advice right now to, let's say, a small to medium-sized business who is looking to get online with video for the first time, or maybe they've done a little bit in video, but it really hasn't, it hasn't evolved into something that they're doing on a regular basis with a clear strategy. What are really the challenges and issues that organizations like that need to take into consideration, the questions they need to ask themselves as they're looking to get online or get more video online?
Yeah, great question. For me, you know, I think a lot of people, businesses specifically, who have a lot on their plate and a rather large development and priority queue, video can seem like a daunting task. It can seem overwhelming. You know, how do I get started? Where do I go? What do I need to do? Do I need 15 engineers to implement this? Do I need a massive budget? Where do I get video in the first place? So the advice I give to everybody starting out is to really kind of think about it, sit down and really figure out your use case. You know, what are you going to use video for? How will it benefit or serve your business? And I think when you kind of sit around a table with your colleagues and really discuss this and get deep into it, it helps kind of flesh out a lot of what you really need. So I think, you know, again, are you a marketer looking to further expose your brand? Are you an e-commerce site and looking to generate revenue with your video? Or are you a publisher looking to, you know, aggregate your data to have very strong management and approval settings, things like that? So, you know, you get your core people around the table and you really figure out what you need video for. That really kind of lays the groundwork for how to get started. And then from there, you know, a lot of these providers, you know, like I said, VidCompare's got over 70 providers in the database, but we provide tools that will help you really narrow your search. So again, the next step in my advice is narrow your search. Once you've found 3 to 5, hone in on them. really focus on what they do and kick the tires. A lot of these OVPs provide a free trial, or a very low level free service. So register for all of them. Get inside, see what they provide on the logged in state. Again, because you'll be spending some time in that space, so you want to know, is the UI clean and flexible? Does it do everything you need? And be very open with the OVPs. These guys, it's a young, exciting space, so all the OVPs are looking for business naturally. So they're very willing to spend time on the phone with you and answer all your questions and help you find exactly what you need. But put them to the test. Ask for a free trial. Say, hey, do you have detailed analytics showing geolocation and user engagement? And if they say, oh, you bet, then say, oh, good. Set me up with an account. I'll try that out this week. So, and you'll find 9 times out of 10 they're absolutely willing to do so. And then another thing I like to advise people on is make sure you understand the T's and C's. If at the end of the day you're not happy with your OVP, or you've spent 12 months with them and you're ready to move on, know their migration policy. You want to know what rights you have to the video you've uploaded, how you can get it off their servers, how you can move it over to your new provider. All that stuff is very important. So again, the advice I give is don't be afraid of video. It's a lot easier than you may think, and there are a lot of people out there to help and great resources. I mean, streamingmedia.com. That's a resource you can really count on to find a lot of information. No doubt. You do a great job.
Well, thanks, and so do you, Kris. It's good to see the things that you've done with VidCompare.com, and I look forward to watching it more closely over the next few months, because I'm sure it's only going to get better. So, great advice for people looking to use video today. Thanks for joining me, Kris.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks a lot for having me.
All right. Thank you much.
Talk to you later, Eric.